The number one thing that you need to consider when choosing a major to make sure that you will not regret it is Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is for all of those high schoolers out there that are wondering how to choose a major that you will not regret. So university applications are coming up pretty quick in most places, so if you're wondering how on earth am I going to pick the proper major, there are so many people that pick a major and then they switch, or they just hate it and then they just follow through with it. Then they've wasted 4 years and a ton of money on a degree that they don't even want to use. So to avoid that situation for yourself, I'll be going through every single step that you need to follow in order to make sure that you do not pick a major that you're going to regret. If you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button for videos every week on school and life advice. So there are 3 major things that I used when I was choosing my major to help guide me in choosing the right one. They are what I like to call the 3 Ps. So I'll be going through each of the 3 Ps to let you know exactly what they are and step by step what you should do. So I'll be talking about them in level of importance, but this of course can change based on your personal circumstances and situation. So the order is easily adjustable based on what's best for you. But for this video, I'm thinking best case scenario, if you can go wherever you want, if you can take whatever you want, if you can do whatever you want in university or college, these are the 3 Ps to follow. So the first P, and the number one thing that you need to consider when choosing a major to make sure that you will not regret it, is personality. So this one is so important to choosing a major because you want to choose a major that fits well with your personality. Otherwise, you're going to end up hating your major, hating going to class, hating university or college, and it's just going to end up being a really bad situation if what you choose does not fit well with your personality. So many people think they know their personality and know what they want to do, but in reality, they're not honest with themselves and they don't really know what fits best for them. So there are 2 major things that you need to consider when it comes to personality, and they need to be really well balanced in order for the major that you choose to really work. So the first one is your interests. So if you do not pick a major that is of interest to you or has classes of interest to you that you can see long-term doing a career related to that major, then you are not going to end up enjoying your time in university or college at all. You are going to be hating your life, wondering why you chose this major, and it's just going to be a recipe for disaster. So you really need to choose a major that fits well with your personal interests. Now on the flip side, at the same time, the second part to figuring out what major goes well with your personality is to make sure that it aligns well with your skills. So just as much as you want your major to fit well with your interests and things that you like, you also want your major to fit well with what your skills are. So let's say you're sitting and thinking about what majors you could possibly take, and you realize that one of your really big interests is that you love music. It's one of your favorite pastimes to just sit and listen to music. You could do it all day long and you're like, I've got it. I've got a major in music. Well, before you jump ahead of yourself and just go off your very first interest and think that that's what your major should be, you need to really reflect on if you have the skills that are also going to complement that interest. So if you love music and you're thinking of majoring music, but you can't play an instrument, you can't read music, you've never done anything music related, you can't sing, you can't do anything related to music, you don't have the skills that are required for music, then maybe it's more of a hobby than an actual career path and something that you should pursue in university or college. So you really kind of have to identify what your skills are and what interests match well with those skills. For me, it was the opposite situation. I had convinced myself that all throughout high school that I needed to go into a science program when I went to university and college. I applied for all medical science programs, life science programs, and it was because I was really skilled in that area. I was really good at biology, I was really good at chemistry, and I thought that's what I had to do. But it wasn't until I actually sat down and thought about doing a major in science and whether or not that interested me, and I realized that I didn't actually have an interest in that and I didn't even like science. So just going based off of your skills or just going based off of your interest is going to set you up for serious failure. So you need to have a proper balance between the two and make sure that what you're picking as your major, that it interests you but it also complements your skills. So from there, once you've figured out what kind of major would fit really well with your personality, the next P is program. So if you realize that you're really interested in writing and you're really good at writing, you were amazing at it throughout high school, and you're like, this is the perfect fit for my personality, is something that has to do with writing. Well, there are so many program options out there that are focused on writing. You could go into an English program, you could go into a journalism program, you could go into a public relations program. Honestly, the options are endless. So in order to figure out which programs are really going to fit you best, there's two things that you need to identify. The first one being, what do you want to be when you graduate? So if you've identified that you're great at writing and you love doing it, and you know that when you graduate you want to be a journalist, then obviously looking at journalism majors are going to be best for you. You really kind of have to go into the future and try and identify where you see yourself 5 years from now when you finally graduated, what job you want to have, and that way you'll know how to adjust and shape which programs have the majors that best fit with what your goals and your career aspirations are. So once you figured out which programs will fit really well with what your end goal is, from there you need to narrow down those programs based on which ones will give you the best education and experience. So with the journalism example, there are a ton of journalism programs out there. So in order for you to narrow it down through the dozens, maybe even hundreds of journalism programs that there are, you really need to start looking at things that are within the programs that make some programs stand out more than others. So figuring that out is going to vary based on what's important to you, but a few things that you can look out for are what type of courses are offered within the program. Are there certain programs that have courses that you like better than other programs? Are there certain programs that have courses that will help you be better prepared for the job you want when you graduate? Do some programs offer internships or co-ops that will help you get experience? Which programs have high employment rates after graduation? There are so many things that you can look at to narrow down which are going to give you the best opportunity to succeed. So honestly, again, this is going to really be up to personal preference and what's important to you and what your end goal is for your career. So in this P, you really want to figure out which one of these types of programs is going to be best for you, and that will help you narrow down your list of all these different majors that seem like they could fit really well. So from there, once you've narrowed down your list of programs with majors that you think are really going to fit your personality while also giving you the best possible university or college experience, you might be like, but Alex, I've done everything that you've said, I've narrowed everything down, and I still have 20 different programs on my list that will be amazing and will give me an amazing education and an amazing experience that will really set me up for success. What do I do now with these 20 programs with amazing majors? How do I choose which ones to actually pursue? Well, I'm glad you asked. In order to really figure out what to pursue from there, you're going to focus on the third P, which is place. So I put this as the least important P just because I think that it really does come last, because you want to make sure that your major fits your personality and that the program is setting you up for success first before worrying about the place that you're going to actually go. But I do still think that it's an important step and something definitely worth considering, especially if you have a budget or you're going away for the first time. So go back and look at your list of programs and look at exactly which university or college that these programs belong to and where each of these universities and colleges are located. Because really at this point, if you have a list of programs that you think are a perfect fit for you to help you decide ultimately where you want to go, or to narrow that down to a top 5 or top 3 of where you want to go, you really want to look at place, because although it's not the most important thing, it can really affect your university experience depending on your own personal preferences and your own personal situation and what you're comfortable with. So some things to consider when it comes to place are, do you want to be close to home, or do you want to get as far away as possible? Do you want to live in the city, or do you hate the city and you would rather live in a small town? Do you want to go to a big school, or do you prefer smaller schools? What can you afford? Can you afford residence, or do you have to live at home and commute? These are all things that you need to consider when it comes to place and kind of narrowing down that list of programs. And honestly, the things that you're going to consider when it specifically comes to location are going to be very personal to you, because what might be important to one person might not be to another. So I know for me that I wanted to try living in a city because I'd always lived in a town. So I went to university in downtown Toronto, and that fit really well with me because that's the experience that I wanted. So you really want to figure out what's best for you, what's going to work, what are you comfortable with, and then hopefully from there you'll have a good idea of which programs are in your top 3 or top 5 that you'd really like to pursue. So that's it. Those were the 3 P's and a step-by-step on how to choose a major that will be perfect for you and that you won't end up regretting. And honestly, at the end of the day, choosing a major is all about picking a school and a program that fit well with who you are and will give you an amazing chance at succeeding. So don't focus on outside pressures and what everybody's telling you. Really try to focus on who you are and what will fit best for you. And if you follow these steps, you're setting yourself up for an amazing university or college experience. Hopefully this video helped you out a bit if you weren't sure at all what major you should be pursuing, or if you're on the fence about a major and you're not sure if it's the right one. Hopefully these tips and steps helped you feel a little bit more comfortable in choosing your major. I would love to know what you guys are thinking about for your majors, so comment down below and let me know which majors you're thinking about pursuing. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button and the notification bell. And if you're looking for more videos on school or just general life advice, I have a bunch of videos on different topics, so I'll link those at the end of the video as well as in the comment section down below, so make sure to check that out. And before you leave, don't forget to subscribe for more videos on school and life advice. See you guys next time. Bye.